We're back in Saluda, South Carolina this week to finish the season opening weekend of the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League Champions Tour. The E3 Spark Plug Super Modified Tractors are here, and last year's champ Wayne Sullivan got out to a solid start to his championship defense with a second-place finish in the Tonka Kentuckian. Joe Ader in the Geico 75th edition started off slow last year, but made a furious charge that fell just short of the championship. This year, he's taken the lead after a win in round one and hopes to keep the momentum going tonight. Carl Atlee's defense of the Superstock Diesel Truck Championship also got off to a great start with a dominating win one night ago. Stay tuned. All the drama from round two at Saluda starts now.
Truck and tractor pulling, the ultimate test of power. Professional pullers compete using custom-built vehicles with thousands of horsepower to see who can pull a multi-ton weighted sled the farthest. The sled is adjusted for each class to make the competition a fair test of power and the driver's skill. There's no practice in pulling. Every decision a team makes before each pull is critical to competing for a class championship. In a long season full of highs and lows, teams dedicate hundreds of hours to maintenance, travel, and repair. This is professional pulling with the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League.
The sun just starting to set here in beautiful Saluda, South Carolina at the Saluda Young Farmers Park. This is the Geico Saluda Young Farmer Truck and Tractor Pull, presented by E3 Spark Plugs. Ken Stout and Leslie Mears here to call the action for you. We kick the season off here at Saluda, the first two hooks of the year. And we're going to start tonight off with the Superstock diesel trucks. These things make incredible power. They are a blast to watch and one of the fastest growing classes on the tour.
And the technology within the class is growing even faster, especially with the Duramaxes. Yes, the Climax machine driven by Kyle Michael is a bow tie on the outside, but more importantly, it's got the Duramax under the hood. You don't see that very often in the world of pulling, and he's made so many changes over the winter. I just keep my fingers crossed he can apply that power to the track.
Now you're going to see these guys work the throttle in some of these trucks in this category. We call it pedaling the truck all the time as they work that handle, that throttle handle back and forth. But he did not, Leslie. He kept that thing planted the entire time. 327 and 39 is going to be the mark to beat. That's a big number.
When it's huge here, especially for Climax, and you can see that big, beautiful stream of black diesel smoke coming out of the hood, hooked up hard. Kyle says that he's got more power this year than he's ever had. He added an additional turbo this year, which is new for him. You know, not so great performance at the first hook, finishing 12th, but here really making it happen and fine-tuning his program.
These things are always fun to watch as they unhook from the sled as well, and they do that crab tracking, if you will. That just goes to show you how light the back of those trucks are and how much weight they put on the nose to make sure those front tires are doing their work. There's a look at the pulling order, and we just saw Kyle Michael, of course. Another huge class here with 14 trucks ready to battle for this win here on the second hook of the season.
Won the second year here for these Superstock diesel trucks on the Champions Tour, and they've just really grown. Van Hazley, kind of one of the founding fathers here of this class in Rock Hard Ram, up next.
He won this event in 2015, the second hook here in Saluda. He really didn't have the best of efforts one round to go. 3:12 and 80 makes me wonder here tonight as well, only because that's a huge difference between him and the Climax truck. Typically, Van Hazley's right in the thick of it.
You can see him pedal the throttle just a little bit off the starting line, but then listen as that sled tops off there, and he drives through some hops at the end, and that will unload and reload those rear tires, detracting from his distance.
So 3:12 and 80 is the final distance there for Van Hazley in the Rock Hard Ram. As we continue on here in the category, up next will be Brian Withrow. Everybody packed in here. They love to watch these trucks go at it. They are brand specific, of course, as the fans will pull for the Chevys, Dodges, and Fords. This one's called the Nut Job 2. Love the name. And Brian comes in with a distance of 3:10 and 36, just a little bit short of Van Hazley's effort.
And Brian brought a brand new truck out intermittently last season, and this will be his first full season in competition with the Champions Tour here with Lucas Oil Propylene League.
Love all the fans out here. They are young and old alike. This is a family sport for sure. And a very knowledgeable group of fans. The big bad Dodge coming out here, Chris Ryan, and 1 year ago at this hook, he stood on the podium in third place. Well, it took him a little while to go to the throttle, but once he got there, that thing was on. We have a brand new leader just sneaking by Kyle Michael in the Climax truck. Kyle put a 3:27 and 39 on the board. He goes 3:27 and 63. That's about 3 inches.
Just amazing the way he broke those tires loose, got the truck really going, backed out of it to make sure that it could hook up and he didn't blow those tires off, and then gets back into the throttle. That's all what it is. It's all about really driving by the seat of your pants and feeling that truck hook up so that you don't blow the tires off.
Awesome effort for sure, man. That's how you get it done. All right, there's a look at the top 3, but plenty of tough trucks left in the category to go. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The Lucas Oil Propylene League is brought to you by General Tire. Anywhere is possible. Geico. Saving people money on more than just car insurance. And by Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source.
Welcome back to the Geico Saluda Young Farmer Truck and Tractor Pull, presented by E3 Spark Plugs. We're at Saluda Young Farmers Park in Saluda, South Carolina. Covering the Superstock diesels here, we have a handful of trucks that have already hooked here this evening. Coming up next will be Matt Clemens. But before we do that, a little bit earlier today, Leslie Mears had a chance to learn a little more about Power Stop brakes.
Power Stop has made it easier for you to upgrade the braking components on your truck and trailer with this awesome Z36 Extreme truck and tow package. So here's the deal. They're going to give you everything you need. They're going to give you the rotors, they're going to give you these ceramic pads, and they're going to give you the hardware to upgrade the brakes on your truck and your trailer. Now here's the best part. It's an easy installation process. These zinc-plated rotors come pre-drilled, and these holes actually help to cool down the rotors during braking application. So you get severe duty braking without all the brake dust, and it's virtually noise-free. The best part about it for you, you don't have to go searching for part numbers out there because everything in this package comes to you under one simple part number. So if you're looking to haul something like the Alter Ego diesel super stock truck in your trailer, you need to upgrade and get with Power Stop.
All right, nicely done. And speaking of the Alter Ego, here we go. Matt Clemens behind the wheel. The mark to beat, 3:27 and 63. 297 and 11 is what he'll put up on the board. Good enough to get up into the top 5 for now.
And you know, Matt Clemens is still kind of in an R&D with this new program. Last year he just kind of threw the kitchen sink at his truck, changed his chassis, changed some different components on the engine combination out there and how it ran. And so really just trying to find his groove back again.
the huge class here as we continue on. Up next will be Don Bowling. This truck is called Pulling for the Cure. A great story behind this one, and our Leslie Mears had a chance to speak with Don earlier today.
Pulling is a very intense, competitive sport, and for a busy guy like you, Don, why add another iron to the fire when you've already got your trucking business and the farm and a few other things out there?
Well, it's just a chance to get back into a competitive nature, and a lot of my friends are already involved in this, and they kind of talked me into it, so shame on them. But it's been a blast the last year. We're new at it, and it's been one of the nicest feelings I've had in a long time.
But it's not like you're a stranger to motorsports. You actually have a history out there of being involved in motorsports.
Yeah, a little bit of drag racing, motorcycles when I was younger, and a little bit of four-wheel drive stuff, mud running. So but it's very, very competitive, and at any given time, any of these guys could take the winner's circle.
All right, he's going to spool up the Super Duty here. Cummins power under the hood. Boy, big RPMs out of that thing there for just a moment for sure. As he said, a brand new team out here doing a great job in their effort for sure, but unfortunately a little bit short of the leaders here today.
Yeah, and just really trying to avoid those sophomore slumps that usually happen for people all across all types of athletics and competition. It's always interesting, too, to see different driving styles from different folks out here. You know, some guys, they get a little too anxious in situations like this where they really have to wait so much, and so you can see him really going hard early off the starting line.
Up next will be a truck called On Borrowed Time. Sean Hodges, the man behind the wheel. And Sean finally shuts it down at 296 and 37. You've got to get way past that 300-foot mark out here today if you're going to play with the leaders.
And, you know, we've seen 4 or 5 trucks in that middle path out there on the track. Just some guys just kind of playing it safe, and it seems like they're building a road, but instead they're really kind of wearing out that road. And you'll see Shane Kellogg here in Trump go out of those tracks where everybody's been kind of wearing it out in the middle, and he's going to move the sled over to the left sideline.
Really working with that throttle there a little bit. It sounded like it almost caught him down underneath the turbo, and he really put the hammer to it to get it going again, but not the smooth run he was hoping for here to get out there with the players. 3:08.22. Finicky machines for sure, but boy, they make a ton of power and are very exciting to watch. There's a look at your top 3. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Geico Saluda Young Farmer Truck and Tractor Pull presented by E3 Spark Plugs. We are covering the Superstock diesels. Joshua Dieter coming up next out of Pennsylvania. The truck called Up in Smoke. Such a tough category. He was on the podium 1 round to go and takes over 3rd place with 3:13 and 73 now.
Yeah, and these last 2 passes really show that it's still out there in the track. Dieter going right of center out there to try to find a different line. And you've got to remember, these guys leave such a huge path down the track that they're digging up those ribbons of dirt out there, you know, because the front drive tires offset from the rear. So it's almost like they've got 2 tire widths, at least a tire width and a half, going down the track to dig it up. So it's really critical that whoever is spotting the sled before the next puller pays attention to that so they can get some nice, clean, fresh dirt.
Another tough player in Kent Crowder. This truck called Shy Diesel, always a threat to win anytime he shows up. And boy, he's going to miss it a little bit after finishing 6th in the first hook of the season, 3:05.04. He misses it some.
And of course, everyone's still chasing down Chris Ryan out there with that huge distance of 3:27 and 63, the current leader. And that'll bring up Eric Stacy in the Smokin' Ya machine. And, you know, Eric making so many changes to his program over the winter. It was cool to catch up with him this afternoon and learn about some of those. Over the winter, our pullers turn into mad scientists, but they don't have anywhere to test all the changes that they make. And I know, Eric Stacy, you made a lot of changes over the winter. So how are you feeling now after testing them on the track last night?
Better than what I'd anticipated. You know, you got to drive 8 hours to make a test run on stuff sometimes, but pretty happy coming 5th last night and made a few changes for tonight. I think we're going to be in a little better spot. We're second class tonight and might have a little better track. So kind of looking forward to see what's going to happen.
Well, and the track conditions were also a little tricky last night as you were an early hook and talking about how it developed over the course of the evening.
Yeah, they had really took out the center of the track when the mods ran. So being an early hook, I wanted to be at the smoothest part, and that was on the left side. So, I had told a fellow competitor, I said, hey, if you was a later hook, I would definitely go to the right. And turns out he was a test puller and come back, and he moved it over there, and he ended up second last night. And you know, sometimes you just kind of got to, you know, say, hey, I'm out to do this. I'm not out to set the world on fire. And you know, it works out both ways sometimes. So we're all good.
And it should be said, he had a solid effort last night. I mean, he finished 5th. Not bad at all. Wow. An impressive run right here. How about some 16 feet on the leader? Holy smokes, that is killing him. Eric Stacy puts 3:43 even on the board.
Wait a second, didn't he just tell us he wasn't here to set the world on fire?
He just rotated the planet, are you kidding me? Man, talk about hooked up.
You just watch the smoke, nice, tight, steady stream. He gets it hooked up early on that right sideline, and you know, he talked about his competitors taking chances one hook ago. That's what he did right here. Moved over to the right where no one else had really been, found some really good dirt, and really extended that distance. Just an awesome hook here by Stacy.
Incredible for sure. He's got to be happy with that. All right, we continue on in the category with the mark now set awfully high for Brad Dieter and the rest of the field. This one called Oversized Load. Just a couple of trucks left here in the category. Boy, that weight box on the front of the sled really slammed the front of the sled and really helped him out. You can see it actually helped the truck a little bit. Pretty impressive stuff, to say the least. So Brad Dieter comes in with a distance of 3:13.02. Good effort. We're not finished yet. A couple of tough ones, including the reigning class champion, Carl Atlee. Yet to go. Stay with us. Just 2 trucks yet to go here at the Geico Saluda Young Farmer Truck and Tractor Pull, presented by E3 Spark Plugs and our Super Stock Diesel category. Up next, the reigning class champion, Lethal Weapon, Carl Atlee behind the wheel. won it one night ago, but he will not win it here tonight. 3:16 and 56 is the mark.
You know, there was a hiccup in that run about the 275 mark, and I think that's about the time the weight box slammed forward out there, and you can definitely hear it and see the change in the smoke out there, and I think those tires got unloaded at that point and just really lost all momentum forward. You see, once that box topped off, it gave him a little jolt, a hiccup there in the engine, and so just really detracted from his distance.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I actually heard that in the truck before as well when we were talking about Brad Dieter. It does. It slams the front of the sled. It bumps the truck forward. It unloads the engine because it actually sounds like it bumps the rev limiter for a moment, and then it has to dig back in. So something they have to be careful with, something these guys will be learning and paying attention to in the future for sure. Finals truck in the category, Cody Hastings. It's called Against the Grain. And Cody doing a nice job here to jump up there into the top 5, 3:16 and 74.
And it's really good to see him just taking his time on the starting line. You know, it wasn't the best of starts out there, but you can see him really get out of it when he feels it's not hooking up like it should, and then slowly getting back into it and releasing the power to help his efforts. You know, it's really awesome to see him really improve his program over the course of last season, coming in as a rookie, and, you know, really just learning as he went on. Ended the season with a second at Rudy's, which is huge, and a fourth one hook ago.
He puts about 3 inches on Carl Atlee. That's how close it was at the very end. Atlee with a 3:16.56 to 3:16.74. There's a look at all the distances. Eric Stacy just killing the category here tonight. 3:43, a massive distance over Chris Ryan and the rest of the gang. The fans being treated to a great show for sure. All right, let's go down to the podium and talk with our winner, Eric Stacy.
All the track studying and preparation really paid off as you stand on top of the podium tonight.
Yeah, I got to watch a little bit tonight. Last night we were an early hook and seen Atlee do what I kind of done tonight, and there was a good line over there, and we put it over there and took it, and I was hoping that the few behind me wasn't going to take that same line because I figured they'd just go trucking right on by me, but it held up, and you know, I couldn't believe when we stood over on the throttle that it took the power because everybody else was having trouble getting it to the ground. I have no idea why it done it, but I definitely am not changing anything for next weekend, so I might be 10th or 15th then, but we're happy for tonight.
Take them when you can get them, that's for sure. It's a tough category. All right, here's a look at the points. Talk about tough. Carl Atlee and Eric Stacy are 2 winners tied up here, as Carl Atlee will finish in the same position tonight that Eric did in night 1. Awesome stuff. That's what this class is made of. Let's go back down to the podium.
And we're changing things up in the winner's circle here. It's a Duramax as Kyle Michael steps on the podium in 3rd place tonight. Just an awesome run, and all those changes you made are really starting to pay off in the Climax machine.
Yeah, I've never been up here before. I have a great time. I had a great time last year, never being up here. This is totally a really good bonus.
You know, you put in a lot of hard work over the winter and saying, you know, you're giving your vehicle more than it's ever had before, and it's really showing in its performance.
Yeah, we added another turbo this year, and we got her dialed in last night. We had a belt break, which was pretty unfortunate, but it's working well. I think we're going to have her dialed in really good for next weekend.
Make sure you look us up on social media. Hit us up on Twitter @ProPulling, Instagram ProPulling League. We'd love to have some fun on social media right along with you. You can always check out the website as well. Find out where the tour is going. And if it comes to your hometown, make sure you come out and spend some time with us.
Well, we know the Big Bad Dodge team comes to us from Texas. It's a long drive, but all that prior planning and preparation has really paid off for you here in Saluda, taking second tonight.
It does take quite a bit. We've been up all week. We've been with Hazley for a week getting the truck ready. We came out. We didn't quite get done what we wanted to last night. We did just a few tweaks and had a little bit of luck, and tonight was a lot better night for us.
When taking the second place has got to be great motivation for you guys and a little fuel to your fire here to keep going into a huge weekend of TS next weekend.
Oh yeah, we're going to spend a little time this week again, and we're ready to go to TS. everybody's coming back, and we're ready to go.
Congrats to Chris Ryan and his team. They're finishing in second place overall with Super Stock Diesels. Okay, we're done with that category. Up next will be the multi-engine class known as the Super Modified Tractors. Stay with us. We're going to wick it up when we come back.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by E3 Spark Plugs, born to burn.
General Tire. Anywhere is possible.
And by Toyota. Let's go places.
And we welcome you back here to the Geico Saluda Young Farmer Truck and Tractor Pull presented by E3 Spark Plugs. The sun has set here, and there's a look at a gorgeous tractor. In fact, the class defending championship machine.
And this beauty weighs 7,800 pounds, and it does have a few limitations in the category. You can only have up to 4, yes, I said only 4 automotive reciprocating engines with 871 superchargers, and you can only make about 10,000 horsepower. That's the limitations that they put on these beasts. You can see so complex the way these engines are tied together, either crank to crank or through that gearbox to the drivetrain. Just really things of engineering beauty.
I love that description. Only 10,000 horsepower and only 4 engines. Wow. All right, Leslie had a chance to speak with the driver, the Down and Dirty, earlier.
Well, Blake, you didn't have the run you were looking for last night, but there's a good reason for that.
Yeah, this little part right here is a bolt that we broke off this pulley right here. And the pulley is a main component of the tractor. It turns this belt right here, which turns this top pulley, which turns the blower, which creates air that goes into the motor. And you gotta have air and fuel to create the motor to run. So a 50-cent part from the parts store and a little bit of work. We hope we're back ready to go. If you watch the video, you can see when this pulley broke and the tractor started bouncing up and down, straight up and down, one-wheeling. Just got out of hand and we had to shut it off and caused us the night.
And to clarify, these machines have open differentials, meaning the 2 rear tires spin at different speeds. Therefore, he called it one-wheeling, one side hooking up, then the other side hooking up, and that creates a violent ride. And Blake Stewart on the Protect the Harvest machine that finished 3rd in the points a year ago puts a big number up on the board, 3:35 and 18. What a difference a night makes.
Wow, and man, he just unleashed the power right off the line. The tractor just sat down and hooked up hard and bit into the track. I bet you'll see him tap the brake, the left brake just a little bit to bring it back around. But then look at him letting it float all the way out to the end. And these guys worked so hard. They actually started up the tractor at 1 o'clock in the morning in the pits. And I'm sure there were some people that weren't happy about it, but they had to make sure that it would fire and that it was ready for action today.
Don't blame them a bit. When you go to a motorsports event, it can get noisy. It's just the way it is. And these guys and girls work extremely hard to make sure they're ready for the next hook. Here's a look at our pulling order. Blake Stewart, as we just saw, with the Down and Dirty. Steve Boyd up next with a green streak. Stan Shelton, who had a great night in our opening hook, will be 3rd overall here tonight, finishing 3rd on the podium night 1. So we'll find out how he does in just a little bit. In the meantime, Steve Boyd out here, and a couple of years inside of this category now, they've really developed a lot of new stuff on this machine, but they've yet to see the results that they get or they have had in the pro stock category. .329 and 48 will be the distance for the green streak with Steve Boyd back behind the wheel.
And you see our official Tony Schindler telling him to shut it down immediately. That back left engine losing fluid at the end, but you can see it start right on the starting line. And so it's almost like something's a little loose down there. It cleans up once that tractor sits down and really digs into the track, but then once it stops the run, it starts to come out again. So I'm going to guess that that engine underpowered out there with that issue, kind of detracting from his distance.
So whatever the case is, we'll find out how things shake down for him a little bit later on as we continue on. The Shell Shock coming up next. Stan Shelton, and talked about Stan having a great night just one night ago, finishing up on the podium in third place. Of course, a former class champion here in the Super Mods, the Super Unlimited Mods, I should say, and also in the Super Mod two-wheel drive category. Woo! And he comes out here, puts one down. 3:42 and 10. We have a new leader.
And man, the box topped off on the sled, and it was like it begged the tractor for more, and it delivered. You can see, watch the right hand, Stan goes full throttle so early, you can see him just bend it over about the 75-foot mark in that run. And you can see the box top off, and he just keeps on rolling and chugging and pouring that power into the track. A very different track, by the way, than we saw one hook ago here.
Yeah, no question. I mean, a patience track one night ago, and now this track is taking some horsepower.
You can see those huge divots being left by those 30.5-inch tires that these guys actually sharpen about every 2 to 3 passes. And so it's very meticulous to get those tires right to dig into the track.
Ricky Long with the MAV TV Lucas Oil machine. So much history out here on the PPL Tour. Easy to see right there that he gets out of bounds, will be DQ'd here for his effort. Ricky Long having a tough night.
And it's just so hard to bring these tractors back around when you're making 10,000 horsepower, when you've got wheel speeds that are 40 miles per hour, when those rear tires are spinning at 140 miles per hour, you just can't get them stopped sometimes.
Here's a look at your top three. We still have some players yet to go, including the four-time champs of Bill Leichner and Joe Ader. We're back here at the Geico Saluda Young Farmer Truck and Tractor Pull, presented by E3 Spark Plugs. Ken Stout and Leslie Mears calling the action for you. The fans have shown up to watch the best go at it. And speaking of the best, this is certainly one of them. Bill Leichner and the Dirt Slinger is always a player. Had a good effort here a year ago. Find out if he can replace it now. He finished second here a year ago. That 3:37 will put him up into the top three as it stands right now. A solid effort out of Bill Leichner and the Dirt Slinger, and he really needs that.
It was just so awesome to see the way the tractor is weighted, that it carried the front end here with the setup, and you can see just really dancing on top of the dirt there a couple of different times, but really holding out there, getting that 7,800 pounds into those rear tires to get that perfect placement of weight and drive the power right where it needs to be in the ground.
Big time players out here, man. They are throwing everything at it. As we continue on here, a couple more tractors in the category, including our class champion coming up in a little bit. But right now, this will be the Geico back machine driven by Joe Ader, our winner one night ago and second in the points a year ago. And Joe comes in with a distance of 3:27 and 78. Very respectable for sure, but not enough to get into the top three here tonight.
Well, Joe's just trying to be consistent here. After taking the win last night, he said, I just need to stay with my consistency, because last season, it took him till the 6th event to get in the top 5. And so that really hurt him in his championship race. And, he's got a lot of confidence after that win and really thinks that if he can just keep that consistency, that he's got a real shot at taking home the trophy this year.
It's been a long time since he won the championship, and he's hungry to get back up in there in the thick of it to see if he can add another one to the mantle. Here comes Steve Bunnage. The tractor is called Takes a Lickin'. Steve, always a lot of fun to talk to, and don't ever count these guys out, man. When they show up, they are players for sure. He won this event in 2015. What's he got tonight? Man, it is hard to believe that it almost pulled that tractor down, but eventually it started grunting its way back up in there. 3:24 and 56 is the distance.
When with these modified tractors, we're talking about 10 to 12 weights on the sled. So it is extremely heavy out there, about 60,000 pounds on the starting line. And when that box is topping off about 250, you're talking about 240,000 pounds of rolling weight at the end of that run. Once the box is topped off, the grouser bars are digging in, the pan's down, and that thing is lugging and chugging out there. That's amazing. That's 3 fully loaded semis that modified tractor is tugging down the track.
And when we heard those RPMs being tugged down, that's because he was hard on that brake, trying to keep it from going out of bounds. Amazing what these things are capable of. All right, 3 turbine engines is what's on this one. Derek Bargy is the driver, and it's called the Judge Next Generation. Front end way up in the air. He had a great hook out here 1 year ago, the opening night, as they put that thing on top of the box, and then picked up another win in Freeport a little bit later on in the season. But he's going to miss the mark here a little bit. He does surpass Steve Bunnage by about 2 inches.
It's very cool to go on board. You're seeing what the driver's seeing. You know, they're trying to look down around those engines at the out-of-bounds line to make sure that they can keep it in bounds. They've got their data acquisition system screen up there so they can see the RPMs, especially on the turbines. That's something that they're monitoring at every point down the track.
All right, just a couple of tractors left in the category, including the reigning champ. Stay with us.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by
General Tire. Anywhere is possible.
Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. And by Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source.
Just 2 tractors left in the category here at the Geico Saluda Young Farmer Truck and Tractor Pull, presented by E3 Spark Plugs. That is the reigning class champion, the Tonka-sponsored Kentuckian, one of the most beautiful machines out here on the property. And Leslie Mears had a chance to speak to Wayne about winning the championship a year ago.
It's been a great year, huh? I mean, I don't see how it could be any better. It's been great, and the funnest thing, we started out, we done decent at Saluda, and then we went to Franklin and done good at Franklin. I tore up a motor there, but if we come home, Donnie said, "Pop, we might as well go out and win this thing." I said, "Well, that sounds good." My boy Donnie is optimistic. He's never, I'm downer. I'm always looking at the bad side, and Donnie's always, I'm negative, he's positive, but I think that helps us both. But, it's been great. I mean, to do good with my boys, and like I said on one of my interviews on TV, I had a 1,000 or more people say they wanted me to win the championship, and I won it, and a lot of them either, I think all of them was true. Now, if I win it again, reckon how many I'm gonna say it this time is what I would like to do it again.
I'm sure he would. They really won that championship based on consistency. It took him 25 years to get there, but he was never out of the top 5 and only picked up 1 win on the season. Unfortunately, he's not going to win this one. They're going to be a little bit short at 3:21 and 90.
Everybody just working so hard out here to stay consistent and stay in that top 5 throughout the course of the season. Sometimes these guys are trying something new, being a little bit different to try to gain an edge in the class where everybody has similar horsepower, but you can see the track really overpowered him and drug him off to the left, hard on the brake the entire time, which is really going to shortchange him here.
Always love talking to Wayne, though, and those guys are solid. Such a great run a year ago. We talked about that one win that he got. Took him all the way to the end of the season. It was the second to last hook of the season. But, man, they just kept plugging away at it and really did a solid job. All right, final tractor in the category. Greg Boyd with the Green Streak Unlimited, son of Steve. Oh, man, another violent run. That's exactly what we saw of the Down and Dirty one night ago, and he shuts that one down knowing that nothing good is going to come out of that.
And, you know, just so anticlimactic for the team, finishing fourth one hook ago here and really trying to move out of the sophomore slumps that plague so many.
A veteran puller for sure, getting out of that throttle before they tore something up, something major. Caused some damage to the frame as well, but they are innovators in the sport for sure, and they will keep digging. They're not going anywhere. Let's go down. Leslie's with our winner, Stan Shelton.
Well, this is about as close to home as you're going to get, and they always say you don't perform well close to home, but an awesome weekend for you, Stan, as you pick up the win tonight.
We did, absolutely. You know, what a great the track was difficult last night. Everybody was trying to lay down the horsepower, and we couldn't. We made a lot of changes today, as you can see the other competitors did too. That's what was great about this class. Everybody's got all the horsepower, just we make adjustments to make it go down the track. What a great job the Saluda Young Farmers did tonight, adjusting the track for our horsepower rating. We picked a spot on the track, crew did, and we ended up where we wanted to, and it just paid off for us.
And so you leave the weekend here with a first and a third, and so this puts you in the top of the points. That's got to feel good, too.
It does. We've been there before, but it's been a long time since we've been there, and just being in the podium right here is wonderful. I want to thank our sponsors, Copeland Lumber Company and General Tire, for their financial support. Crew done a great job. I can't do it without these guys and family at home, so we really appreciate it.
He's still going 100 miles an hour, man. He is up on the wheel. Here's a look at how they finished tonight. Shell-shocked, as we just talked to. Our winner, followed by Bill Leischner. A great effort out of the dirt slinger. Then Blake Stewart with the Down and Dirty, who kicked things off. Once again, let's go back down to the podium, and this time we'll talk to Blake Stewart.
Well, usually the first hook is the kiss of death, but tonight it worked out great for you, Blake, in the Protect the Harvest Down and Dirty as you take third.
Yeah, it was a great run. I told Mom around lunchtime that we was going to go out there and make a great run. They was going to reset it on us, take it from us. We'd come back, not do no good at all. Well, we made the great run we made, and Bargy came up and said they was going to reset the sled. Rain coming, we was scared, and went up to Mears, and he said, I think I'm going to leave it. Made the second run. Turned out we did good.
When it's awesome, especially after all the hard work you had to put in this afternoon, up to 1 o'clock in the morning, making sure you could get the beast running again, and here you are sitting third.
Yeah, we probably made a few people upset last night. We got it together about 1 o'clock in the morning. We started it up, woke up all the neighbors, but it paid off. We came out, made a great run. And I also want to thank Protect the Harvest, Forrest and Charlotte Lucas, and the Saluda Young Farmers for putting on the pool. It's a great pool, and we just like coming.
Great job, Blake. Good effort there tonight out of those guys. There's a look at the points. Stan Shelton leading after a solid effort here in the first two hooks. Joe Ada right behind him, just 4 points back. And Bill Leischner, who finished second here tonight, is third overall in the points. Let's go down and talk to Bill.
New colors this year for Bill Leischner, and giving you some good luck here tonight as you end up in second.
Yeah, it's an excellent track tonight. The Saluda Young Farmers did an excellent job building the track. You know, it took so much power tonight. We really pulled down, but just really got out there.
And it's exciting to see you back here. It's got to feel good. You know, the last couple years have been a little bit slumpish for you, and that's what we're used to seeing out of the old dirt slinger. So is this the return of Bill Leischner?
Well, let's hope so. It's been a lot sluggish, not a little sluggish. I mean, there haven't been many podiums, and it's just, we've struggled. You know, we lost our major sponsor. We still got Suits Ag Service that's backing us. We got fast sprayers, and we get a lot of help from Sassy Engines and SSI, and we get a lot of help from people. But these guys, you know, it's kind of a short crew tonight. We're a long way from home, and they did an excellent job, and that's why I can sit in the seat and do this.
Make sure you check us out online at propulling.com. We'd love to see you at one of our events. Come out and enjoy the fair festivities and the best in truck and tractor pulling. For Leslie Mears, I'm Ken Stout. Thanks for watching the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League.